Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
And hello there, all you stay tuned. Hey, listen, fuck the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go. Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here with our good buddy King. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Pretty good, hanging in there. A little worn out from the crazy NFL weekend.
What a goddamn weekend this one was, eh?
Yeah, I mean...
I can't remember a crazier weekend. Can't do it.
This definitely has to be the craziest weekend of the season so far.
It started off nuts. It just continued to be nuts, and it didn't stop being nuts all week. Like every game was insane. I mean, I think you got to start with how the weekend started on Saturday with the Vikings and Colts.
Dude,
what
yeah.
the fuck happened there?
I'll tell you what, man. I think I texted you or I was texting you in our group chat there when the Colts got to 30, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I know there's 30 minutes still. There's another half to go. That's a lot of points to come back, and I'm like, I'm gonna just turn it off. And I went to watch a TV show or something else. I turned it off, and I look on ESPN. 5 minutes left. Vikings up 36-33. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Because when I was I had the game on. It was Saturday. This was my fiance's birthday weekend, so I was kind of like, we were all getting ready. We were gonna go out, have a nice birthday dinner and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of half watching the game and stuff like that. And as I'm watching the game, it's like, Colts get a scoop and score fumble touchdown. They're running away with the game. It gets to halftime. It's 33-0 at halftime. I get a phone call from my dad. We start talking, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah.
He's like, the Vikings are frauds. They're terrible. I was like, "Yeah, no, this is fraudulent behavior if there ever was. Like, this is just they're getting schooled by Jeff Saturday." And an Indianapolis Colts team that can't get out of their own way, and it's like, wow, this is bad. And this was at home for the Vikings.
Yeah.
They had gotten schooled there by the Cowboys, 4 or 5 weeks earlier. Now they're getting schooled by the fucking Indianapolis Colts. Like, what the fuck is this? This is whatever. Fine. What? And sure enough, as I stop paying attention and I start getting ready, take a shower, shave the balls, you know how it goes, and I'm still, looking at my phone, keeping stuff, and I see in our King Cup Family Picks group chat, my brother Russell starts posting like he starts like, oh, Vikings trying to make a game of it. And I'm like, you're trying to make a game of it, but it was 33-0. So what are we doing? So it's like, you start looking at it, it's like 33-14. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like, 33-24. Interesting. Then you see it's like 36 28 or whatever it was. I think it was 36-28.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, so that's it. No, it wasn't 24. It was like 21-28. Yeah, so they were scoring. So it's 36-28. And you're like, there's no way they're going to do this. I was like, are you kidding me? They're only down a touchdown and 2-point conversion now. And sure enough, then they score a touchdown, 2-point conversion, send it to overtime, and win it in overtime. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, how demoralizing does it? Like, listen, and I know the Colts have had a rough year anyway.
Yeah.
But how much is that even? And not only that, and this is a point that's been brought up a lot online since something like that. How bad does this cement Matt Ryan's legacy as the choking quarterback?
But see, I don't agree with that. I'm glad you brought that up because I seen that too. He doesn't play defense. He's not the one that gave up the 36 points, to Minnesota. I mean, yeah, he did put only 30 points up or whatever it was in the first half and nothing else the rest of the game.
Only 33 points. No, 33 points. That'll win you if you put up.
And that's the other thing.
I have an old feeling. If you put up 30, if you put up 24 points,
yeah,
you should win the game.
Yeah. So why is that Matt Ryan's fault?
And if you don't, that means your defense sucks.
Exactly.
I don't get that. No, but here's the thing, and I've brought this point up. Whether it's sports, politics, life, doesn't matter. Perception is reality. As much as you'd like to say it's not, as much as you'd like to sit there and say, well, no, there are nuances and there are. When it comes to the public, when it comes to the general people at large, they're fucking stupid.
Oh, well, yeah.
So nuance goes out the window. Any kind of reasoning or anything goes out the window. It's just you see this person and this result, and you say, okay, then that's what it is. And that's unfortunately where we are.
Yeah.
Where Matt Ryan now is not only the guy who blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl with a quarter left, he blew a 33-0 lead at halftime to a Vikings team that everybody sees as frauds anyway, to a bad team. So, like, that's just where we are now. Whether you agree with it or not, it's what's there. So if you go on, NFL memes on Twitter or Facebook, that's what's going to be there.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of their memes suck now anyway.
Yeah.
So they
can like regurgitate it.
They're not, they're unfortunately not what they used to be. But at the end of the day, that's what Matt Ryan is seen as that. But how do you blow that kind of fucking lead? I don't know. But the Vikings are 11-3. Do you believe in that 11-3? I don't know. I do. And is that a case of the Vikings being good enough to come back from 33 points, or is that just the Colts being so fucking terrible that they got lucky to be up 33-0 and then the Vikings stormed back? Like, is it Vikings good or Colts bad? I'm more inclined to think Colts bad than Vikings good.
I think maybe a little bit of both. Like the Colts are bad enough to blow a lead like that, but to get that many points, you need a team with stars on paper to put up that many points. Here's what I'll put to you, and we'll get into this later because we're going to do the list and everything like that, blah, 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 whatever. But I'll put this to you right now. Vikings are 11-3. In your mind, are the Vikings an 11-3 type team? I don't think so. Like if this was
okay,
if this was, let me see how I want to say this. I don't think they're going to lose the rest of their games for the season. But
you don't.
But they do strike me as like a 9-7, 10-6 type team. They're not a 14-win team or whatever possibility they could.
I think they can easily lose the game they got coming up this week to the Giants, and I'm not even saying that as a Giants fan.
No,
but the Giants are a better team than the Colts.
Yeah, and I think the Giants and the Vikings game is going to be a lot better than what people may have thought about it before the Colts game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people.
I don't
would
see.
have
I think you're giving the Vikings too much credit on that one. I don't think the Vikings are what can be perceived as 11-3 team. What you would normally see as an 11-3 team.
Well, I mean, yeah. When you hear a team that's 11-3, you're thinking where they're at. You know, they're the number 1 or number 2 seed. They're not a number 1 or number 2 seed team.
See, here's like the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are 11-3.
Yeah,
that's an 11-3 team.
Yeah, I agree.
The San Francisco 49ers are 11-3. That's an 11-3 team. I feel that.
I mean,
why do you not?
I do think they're a lot better than Minnesota.
I was going to say that because there was a moment when I was putting my list together this week that the Niners were my number 1 team.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "Oh, you motherfucker, you!"
They're not. Where did you see that? First of all,
you commented on somebody's.
I commented.
Post.
Okay, yeah. Well, oh, you stalker! You're a Twitter stalker. Jesus.
Hey, I may not do good prep work here, but I do stalk to get some info.
You do stalk Twitter well. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But no, I think the Niners are clearly one of the best teams in the NFL, and maybe the front runner in the NFC. They are an 11-3 team that I think is actually better than what their record is because they've gotten better as the season's gone on. That defense is incredible, and even with Brock Purdy as their quarterback, as Mr. Irrelevant rookie, with the weapons they have, and Debo will be back for the play. Like I can't. Like it's right now a hard time finding anybody that's going to beat the 49ers in the playoffs.
The only thing that is holding me back from saying they're better than Philly, they're the number 1 team in the NFL, and I didn't look at this, but I saw on Twitter saying, is San Fran so good because of the easy schedule? Which you could say the same thing about Philly.
Well, you could say that about the Eagles. You could say that as we're talking about the Vikings.
Yeah,
is the Vikings are 11-3. Are they 11-3 because of how talented they are, or are they 11-3 because they kind of played a soft schedule and they've gotten real lucky in a lot of fucking games?
Yeah,
they could have lost at least 5 games on last-minute plays. The one in London, the double doink.
Yeah.
Against, I think it was the Saints they were playing off the uprights. Like this game with Indianapolis, like there's so many times where you're looking at the Vikings this year, it's like, how the fuck are they getting away with this? And like it seems like the one time where they played a typical Vikings game and they played an opponent that played up to their standard, the Cowboys blew them out by almost 50 fucking points.
Yeah.
Now, again, the Cowboys have their own fucking problems.
I was going to say, which is the team that lost to the Jaguars on a pick 6. So how does that make Minnesota look?
Wait. We're gonna wait. Pause.
Yeah, we're kind of jumping around.
We're pausing because I need you to repeat who the Cowboys played. Who did the Cowboys play?
The Jaguars. I know that
the Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars.
They're not wires. They're not jagged wires. There's a jaguar. No, it's a jaguar.
Jacksonville. Is that better?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll just go with place name.
Just like Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre.
No. Because it's Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre. That's what it is. It's not Wilkes-Barre. It's not Wilkes-Barre. It's not Wilkes-Barre. It's Wilkes-Barre. That's what it is. Wilkes-Barre. Fuck it. I fucked it up anyway. It doesn't matter. Because now I'm starting to think about it. And when you think about it, it screws you up.
But
I don't know. I know the British call it the Jaguar. The Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars. But either way, that's another team that we're going into the playoffs. Are they as good as people think they are? Like the Cowboys can some weeks look truly amazing, and then they can play a game where they're up significantly with 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
And then they end up doing dumb shit, bad play calling, bad clock management, and end up losing to the Jaguars in overtime. And so there's a team that's 10-4 are they a 10-4 team? Are they better? Are they worse? Like,
and I hate to
it's
say
hard
it.
to tell this year.
I hate to say it, but that team doesn't go when Dak's good. This has to be Zeke's team. When Zeke plays good, they're doing really good on offense.
It's not even Zeke. Pollard's been the better running back this year.
Yeah, but
for Dallas, from the straight eyeball, from just an eyeball test.
Yeah.
Again, this show is not exactly stat central, so the stats might show differently. Ezekiel's great, but to the eyeball test, Pollard's been, in my mind, light years better than Zeke's been this year for the Cowboys and getting them where they are.
So it sounds like we both could agree if that running game is going, that Dallas team is a 10-6 team, maybe a little bit better.
Because here's the thing: if you get the running game with anything, this is any team. If you get the running game going, it's going to open up the passing game. And Dak's a good enough quarterback to do that. But if they're in a tight game, in a close game, all of a sudden, like you see what happens with Jet. Like, how did you blow that game?
Yeah.
You can't blow that game. You cannot blow that game. And especially, if you're trying to stay toe-to-toe with the Eagles, now you're in a situation where you have to absolutely win out to try to get the division.
Yeah. Yeah, if we win one game, and we just have to win one of the last few games.
If the Eagles win another game, there and we'll see. There's a lot of stuff going on there as well, whether Jalen's going to play or not. But let's go to the Saturday night nightcap with the fucking Bills and Dolphins. Great game. Big credit to the Dolphins for showing the fuck up.
I just want to say one thing though about the Bill stadiums. They probably should, like, next year in the offseason, whatever, put like a safe space for the people complaining about the snowballs being thrown, like the players or whatever. That was so fucking stupid that they had to call the game or pause the game and go over to the intercom and say, stop throwing snowballs or it's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
Well, they did that. Well, remember when the Giants were throwing snowballs at the Chargers? What was that, 20-something fucking years ago?
Yeah.
There was like criminal charges and shit. Granted, it was more ice than snow, but
But let's not forget the Eagles fans. We're terrible for throwing snowballs at Jimmy Johnson.
No, you're terrible for throwing batteries at fucking Santa. I know it's 50 fucking years ago, but still, when you do shit like that, it stays with you. And people are going to be like, oh, see, other fan bases are bad. Philly fans try to show themselves as being not as bad as everybody else by using whataboutisms. And it's like, no, y'all are still pretty fucking. Let's not forget about the Philly fan that puked on a little girl. Let's not
that was
forget
like
about
60 years ago.
No, that was literally 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about the fucking Flyer fans just in total, just being Flyer fans.
We're good.
Granted, it gives Philadelphia a home ice advantage wherever, whenever they're playing somebody. I get that, and that's good for them.
Yeah.
But also, y'all are scumbags. Let's just, it is what it is. Let's call a spade on this one. Y'all are scumbags. It's fine. Embrace it. That's okay. And because here's the thing. There's some scumbagginess that you look at, it's just like, man, that's scummy and that's scumbagginess. And that's usually everything that's Philadelphia because of Philadelphia. And it's a grimy ass city and it's disgusting and it smells like ass and nobody likes it. Then you have like the Bills and Bills Mafia, and they get away with it because it's like, oh, it's cheeky fun. And they're fucking putting each other through tables and lighting shit on fire and covering each other in fucking mustard, all in good fun. And it's like, because it's Western New York. There's nothing else to fucking do. We get it. We understand why they're fucking nuts. Like Philadelphia is like, oh, they're just scumbags. And, with the Bills Mafia, it's like, oh, no, okay, well, I get it because, it's Western New York. What else are you going to do? Like, just look over at Canada? Like, who gives a shit? So, we're the only real New York team. Shut the fuck up. I get tired of that bullshit, too.
I mean, you got the New Jersey Giants and New Jersey Jets, so...
The Giants and Jets play closer to New York City than the Bills play to Buffalo. So,
suck my dick. In Jersey.
I don't. Who gives a shit?
Go back to the Bills game, though. The Bills Miami game.
No, first of all, fantastic game by the Dolphins. I'm going to give a lot of credit to the Dolphins, to Tua, playing out there in those conditions. Everybody said, well, the way the Dolphins have been playing recently and the way the Bills were playing, like the Dolphins are going to get crushed. They're going to get run out. No chance. They showed up, and it took a Bills comeback from good old Joshy boy to get back there, but they did, and the Bill. That's what the Bills again. The Bills are 10-4.
Yeah,
and they seem like they should be a better team. Wait, are the Bills 10-4? No, I think I screwed that up. I think I got the records messed up.
Okay, because I was gonna say I could see them being like a 1 or 2 more win type team. Not.
Yeah, I think they're 11. Yeah, they are 11 because they're still the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
because they have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. Yeah, no, I'm looking at a wrong thing here. Yeah, I think I had it wrong with San Francisco. San Francisco is 10-4, not 11-3. So I thought I had something screwed up here. Looking at this standings that I have here, I don't know why it's either updated wrong or something. But yeah. So, but even so, they're an 11-3 team that seems like an 11-3 team. You know what I'm saying? Like the Vikings don't portray that. And I think that's a problem, and I think it's a problem with they make the play. Like the Vikings are going to make the playoffs, and the way the NFC is breaking down, they're going to get the 2nd seed. Maybe. It depends on what happens. Maybe. If they lose to the Giants this week, they got problems.
Because the Niners.
Here's the thing too.
Niners are only a game behind, right?
The Niners are only a game behind, so that's what I mean. It's like the Vikings can be the 2nd seed, but if the way things are going. The Niners could end up with the 2nd seed.
Yeah.
So the Vikings do have things to play for. But even so, like if I'm the Vikings, maybe I don't want the 2nd seed. If I'm the Vikings, maybe I do want to drop down because I'm going to tell you something. If the Vikings are the 2nd seed,
okay,
and kind of things break down, way things might happen, and you end up having maybe the Detroit Lions sneaking into the playoffs there at the 7th seed.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the Lions. Especially if I'm the Vikings. The Vikings just got fucking shellacked by the Lions.
And obviously the Lions are a hell of a lot better than the Colts.
And the Lions are maybe the hottest team right now in the NFL. 6 out of 7. They're 6-1 in their last 7.
Yeah.
After going 1-6 in their first 7. And that's what I mean. They're 7-7 right now. After starting 1-6, they are 7-7. And they are right there fighting for a playoff spot. And with their schedule, they can fucking do it. Yeah. They can easily run the table on the next 3 games. And if they do that, they get to 10-7 after starting 1-6. Like they're seriously in contention to make the playoffs, and Washington has a hard road. I think they have San Francisco this week.
Yeah, I think before.
And if that's the case,
I think before the games last week, I forget if it was Saturday or Sunday, they were doing a probability percentage, and Washington was if they lost, which they lost this past week, they're actually like a 21% chance of making it.
I did see that with Steve Kornacki there. That if they had won, it'd be like an 89%, and if they lost, it'd be 21%. And roughly the same for the Giants. If the Giants had lost, they would have been 19%. If they win, it's 88%. So right now, that's what we're looking at here, and that's the thing is that Washington, they're at San Francisco. That's a problem,
especially with the struggles that Washington's been
and this
having.
Is what I mean. Like that game on Sunday night was so important for both of the Giants and for Washington. And for it to come down the way it did, listen, there's a lot of controversies about that game.
There was only one real call that wasn't called that should have been called.
Well, here's the thing.
And it cost Washington the win.
On that one, see, I don't think because here's the thing: if everything on that play was called the way it was supposed to be, yeah, sure, pass interference. I don't think there's any argument from anybody on that one. That was clearly was draped all over. I'm not saying as a Giants fan, I'm not going to sit there and defy. I don't know if you saw in the group chat where I was talking with my sister-in-law Robin. We were sitting there talking about it, and it was like. That was pass interference. I'm going to argue that. I'm glad they didn't call it.
Yeah.
But also on that same play, Kayvon Thibodeau, who, by the way, had a fucking breakout baller game.
Freaking monster.
What a monster game from Kayvon Thibodeau that game. But he had illegal use of the hands to the face. He got poked in the fucking eye. And there was no call on that one. So if everything on that play was called the way it was supposed to be called, it would have been, pass interference on defense, illegal use of hands to the face on the offense, penalties offset, replay fourth down. Now, I know there's also some people complaining about on the one where they scored the touchdown that they called it back because of the illegal formation because McLaurin wasn't up on the line.
What do you think about? What do you think about that?
He pointed to the ref, and the ref said he was okay. First of all, we're dependent on McLaurin saying that the ref said he was okay. So that's the player saying, "Well, he said I was fine."
The ref did point and say the ref did give him a thumbs up that he was good.
No, he didn't. But if you watch the tape, you see no thumbs up.
I thought I saw him do some type of hand signal that said he was good.
He might have told him to move up. But here's the other thing too. It's not on the ref.
Thank you.
Like people try to bring this up all the time. Like, well, you got your point there. No, you can, and the ref can, if he feels like it, tell you no, you're okay, or no, move up. But that's not his job.
Exactly.
He's got 20 different other fucking things going on that he has to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Not whether or not you're lined up in your right spot. That's your responsibility to make sure you're lined up where you're supposed to be. And if you're not, that's your fault. And you cost your team a touchdown.
Yep.
And that's on Terry McLaurin.
I totally agree with that. I will say, though, it was kind of funny, though, the whole from start to finish, how it went down. Like, McLaurin looks at him, am I good? Move up a little bit. Good. Ball hikes. I mean, I don't even think the ball was in the quarterback's hands yet, and the ref was already throwing the flag.
The ref had his hand on the flag.
Yeah.
First of all, that would be a sign to me
that you're not
if I'm
good.
the receiver. Maybe I should check to see if I'm actually on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like he was going like a fucking Wild West gunslinger. Like he's ready to go. As soon as that ball was snapped,
that's why I just started laughing. That's
it was
exactly
immediate.
Yeah.
It was absolutely immediate. So like right there, there's maybe some context clues there from Terry. Maybe you should have been paying attention to that too.
Yeah.
And again, that's not on the referee to tell you if you're going to commit a penalty or not.
Yeah.
That's not the ref's job. The ref is to call the penalty if you do it.
Yeah.
So like a referee's not going to sit there and say, "Hey, listen, if you put your hand up by his mask there again, I'm going to throw a flag." No, if you put your hand on the mask, you're getting a flag thrown.
Yeah.
If you're not lined up on the line, if you're not covering up the tackle like you're supposed to be, that's a flag.
Yeah.
Learn the fucking rules. Learn how to get anything, because doing something like that, those are the little things that will cost the team a win, and that cost Washington a chance to win. Because even with all that, they still would have had to got a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
They still would have had to bring it to overtime. It brings the whole thing. Who knows? They might have fucking tied again. Who knows? But at the end of the day, that little mistake there cost them the chance at getting the 2-point conversion, at tying the game up. Who knows what happens from that point? But it's not a given that Washington wins with all of that. But that's on Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. That's on Scary Terry for not being lined up in a proper position. And when it comes to the other call, no, it was an egregious miss, but so was the illegal hands to the face on Kayvon Thibodeau. So if everything being equal, that should have been offsetting penalties and replay fourth down anyway.
Yeah.
So like this idea that, well, they should have got it at the 1 yard line. No, it would have been offsetting. They would have still had it at the 5 or 6 or wherever they were after the penalty to McLaurin. So either way, huge game, huge win for the Giants.
Well, before you could gloat about the Giants win, can we give
I'm not even gloating. I'm just saying
a big shout out to the Redskins running back Robinson. What a freaking beast! Now this is the kid that got shot twice.
It's a great story. Yeah. Yes, that is the guy who got shot in the leg.
And the one running play
right before the season started.
Yeah, and the one running play. Granted, I mean the linemen were helping him, but moving that pile a good 10, 15 yards.
No, absolutely no. When he got shot, you didn't think like, okay, well he might come back, but maybe later on in a year or do something like that. I think he was only out 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it must have been a very superficial wound. And and he was right back into it, and has been a huge piece of that Washington football team of Redskin Commanders offense. And he had a stellar game against the Giants, no doubt, 1,000%.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
It is, and
you think, like you said, you think he would have came back at towards the end of this year. I would have even just thought maybe the rest of his career would be just a career third down back, not a full-fledged starter.
No, that he's got the physical skills and just the physical abilities, and that's it. Thank God it wasn't somewhere else. Thank God it wasn't more serious.
Yeah.
Thank God that he was able to survive it, but not So he's shown people two major things. One is that you can really overcome anything.
Yeah.
If you try hard enough, if you have the skills, if you have the willpower to do it. Yeah, my man was shot and is becoming an all-pro.
Yeah.
So right there, that shows you can do anything. And the other thing he's shown is stay the fuck out of downtown DC, no matter what. Just don't go to DC.
Yeah.
It is disgusting. It is crime-ridden. It is on par with Philadelphia, with how dirty and scummy and bad it is.
Probably
Just
worse.
don't go there.
Probably worse.
I think it's a toss-up between DC and Philly.
I've been to both a couple of times. From personal
I've never
experience.
been to DC. I've been to Philly a handful of times now in my life, and that's far too many. It's just terrible. But I've never been to DC. I'd like to go there and see like all the the monuments and things like that. See where the federal government goes ahead and fucks us in the ass all the time. Walk up to the IRS and piss on the door. Things like that. Hashtag taxation is theft. Not to get political here. No, we're moving on. But still, just wanted to put a joke in there about overcoming odds and staying the fuck out of DC is probably the best things you can do. But yes, huge game for the Giants. Huge win, and now the Giants have the ability to clinch a playoff spot this week.
Yeah.
If they beat the Vikings, if the Giants beat the Vikings, and either Washington loses and Seattle loses, or if Detroit loses and Seattle loses, or I think any one of those three, it has to be two of the three. Of either Washington, Seattle, and Detroit.
Okay.
If any two of those three lose and the Giants win, they clinch a spot.
So you need a combination win.
So for right now, the Giants need to beat the Vikings. If the Giants beat the Vikings and they get the help from the 49ers, the Chiefs, and that's the thing. Those are the two that I think are the chance, because Detroit's playing Carolina.
Yeah.
They should win that game.
Yeah.
As we talked about, Washington's playing the 49ers in San Francisco, and Seattle's playing Kansas City in Kansas City.
Okay.
Now, the Giants are playing Minnesota in Minnesota, but as we've seen, that may not be such a home field advantage.
Yeah, you just don't know what Minnesota team's going to show up.
So this is a huge, huge game. If the Giants can pull off the win in Minnesota, and the 49ers do what they do, and the Chiefs do what they do, the Giants have a playoff spot wrapped up already at week 16.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Considering how things had been going.
Yeah.
And how we were, 1-5-1 or something in the last 7 games, 1-4-1. And the things were not trending well. That one win against Washington, huge win. Now you go to Minnesota, you get to see where you are against a likely playoff opponent. Could end up playing Minnesota again in the playoffs, especially
the first round.
Because that's it. Well, that's the other thing, too. If we beat Minnesota and the 49ers do beat Washington, as we're hoping they do, then the 49ers, I believe, would jump up into second. And then Minnesota would be third. And with the Giants being 6... would be the matchup as it was. Now, again, there's still 2 more weeks after this.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all breaks down. But that's a possibility. So, and even if you don't, you're still putting yourself up against a playoff competition.
Yeah.
And we'll see. So, but the fact that can actually happen, that we're talking about the Giants having a clinching scenario, and not a super convoluted one either.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, well, you need this team if it wins and loses or ties, or if this is that, and this team has to have this many points in the division playoff with this. And it's like, okay, fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, if you win your game and these two teams lose games that they should, let's face it, probably should lose, you're in the playoffs. Which this year is incredible to think about. Because the Giants this is year one of a rebuild. Like, we're dealing with the aftermath of having Gettleman as our general manager. We're dealing with having no players. All of our wide receivers are hurt. The one wide receiver we have that's supposed to be an all-pro wide receiver forgot how to football. Like Kenny Golladay has been just an absolute atrocious.
That has
just
to be the
terrible.
worst signing ever for free agency.
One of them. It's pretty bad. Albert Hainsworth might be the worst.
Oof,
but
yeah.
Remember Hainsworth? Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If Detroit and the Giants make the playoffs, or Detroit gets real close, to making the playoffs, who do you think gets coach of the year? Dable or Lions?
Toss up. That's a coin flip. That's a coin flip.
Here's my look at it.
Here's the thing. I think Sirianni should be in the discussion as well. Just because the Eagles are what they're now. Granted, we could talk about whether they're 13-1, but because of schedule and stuff like that, whatever. I think the Eagles are good. Yes, I think maybe the schedule is a little lighter than some of the other teams have had, but at the end of the day, they're a good team.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is good, and I think Sirianni is a part of that. And everybody laughed at his ass when he was talking about manure and fertilizer and flowers and all that kind of shit, and got the dogs and flowers and all that. People roasted him for his introductory press conference. You were like, oh fuck, what the fuck do we got with this guy?
I'll never not admit that. I mean, I was scared shitless watching.
Oh, absolutely, and I was having a blast making fun of
you were.
Nobody's laughing now. The only people that are laughing is Sirianni and Howie Roseman. For putting this team together.
Yeah.
And this is a team that is built to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
So I think he absolutely needs to be part of that conversation. But if it was me, I think right now, I think even if the Lions don't make the playoffs, I think it's a toss-up, it's a coin flip between Daboll and Motor City Dan Campbell, because it's surprising it took half a season, and it took firing, for some reason, the cornerbacks coach to turn the Lions season around. I don't know why it was the cornerbacks coach that did this, but they got rid of him, and since then they've been 6-1. So I don't know.
The only arguments I would say that I think Daboll should get it slightly more than Campbell is, a firing is what turned the team around, and they ripped off a 6-1 record. You guys have been, from day one, injuries, basically practice squad players, and you've been in the playoff hunt from the get-go. So,
there was a point where we were 7-1 at one point.
Yeah.
Like, that's, first of all, incredible to think about. But also, and I went a bit of a rant on Twitter about this, and this is just kind of an addendum to the rant I had last week.
Okay.
I'm not really going to be a rant. It's not going to be angry. But in watching the Washington game, it hit me. If the Giants had any receivers that could catch a ball that hits them directly in the fucking numbers, like that just hits them right in the hands, perfect throws, and they drop balls. Like, I'd love to see the stats. I think the Giants probably have the most dropped passes of any team in the NFL. If the Giants had receivers that could catch, Daniel Jones, by the media who makes fun of him still to this day, would be considered elite.
Yeah.
Because he and that's what I mean, is that he has such an improvement over what he said. And that's the thing, he always had the talent. He had the legs, he had that athletic ability, he had problems protecting the ball that we all know through the, like, every fucking 3 times he dropped back, he fumbled a fucking ball. Hasn't done that this year at all. He's protected the ball amazingly. Hasn't thrown that many interceptions at all. Has right now, I think, one of the highest completion percentages for a Giants quarterback this deep into a season ever, statistics wise. Anyway, and everybody's like, well, he's got short passes. Well, he can't throw a fucking long ball because we don't have receivers that can either get down the field or catch the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And half the reason that he has so many incomplete or an incompletion or things like that is because it's not because he didn't place the ball right. It's that the receivers that we have are practice squad receivers. And they're dropping these passes that are hitting them dead in the fucking numbers, right in the hands, like balls that you and I could catch.
Yeah,
they're dropping, and it's frustrating to see that people still doubt him and sit there and say like, "Well, I don't know, he may not be the Giants quarterback." Giants got to see if they can get an actual quarterback. The Giants have a quarterback. The Giants have a damn good quarterback.
Yeah,
and the only thing that's keeping him from being considered in the same realm as fucking Josh Allen is the fact that he doesn't have a Stephon Diggs, is that he doesn't have a fucking A.J. Brown, that he doesn't have an Equanimous St. Brown, that he doesn't have these fucking people to throw to, I think if the Giants start doing that and get decent receivers and just shore up that offensive line, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with that defense. But the Giants' defense can't stop a run either. I don't. If we saw that against Washington, the Giants' defense, they're good with runs up the middle, and they're decent with pass defense, especially if they're assaulting the fucking receiver on the last play of the game. But if you do a fucking sweep to the outside, you're getting 15 yards before a Giant touches you.
Yeah.
So that's a major problem that they have to fucking figure out. But. All things considered, with the Giants' cap hell that they were in with Gettleman, with a lot of the terrible contracts they were left with, and a lot of the terrible personnel they're left with Gettleman, the fact that they're at this spot at 8-5-1, with a chance to clinch the playoffs in Week 16, in a year where we all figured there was going to be, another rebuilding year, but we'll see where we are and see if we want to keep Saquon and see if we want to keep DJ, see where, how we want to do things. I think the Giants have proved that Daniel Jones is their quarterback. Saquon, depending on how much he wants, I'd like to have him back, but he's so inconsistent.
Well, I mean, just look at that
whether
game.
he plays well or not.
Look at that game alone. He didn't seem like he was playing like a top-tier running back in the beginning, but when it came to closing the game out, those, last 2-3
Well, that's how he was in the beginning of the season, and I don't mind that. Listen, if it takes a little bit to grind down the other team and get them going, and then in the second half, Saquon takes over, I'm fine with that. That's what you want. You want a running back that can close out a game for you.
Yeah.
That you can run down the clock and have him just run and take over a game. And that's what he was doing in that 7-1 stretch for the Giants. And then in this 1-4-1 stretch, he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Is that's a little bit of the inconsistency. Is that a little bit of offensive line trouble? Is that other? Yes. But there's also other players out there who don't have great offensive lines who are still good running backs. So I think there's a lot to discuss there, but I would definitely bring Daniel Jones back. I'd like Saquon back if he wants to come back. But those are two big pieces. And then it's just getting other pieces in it, getting other wide receivers in there, getting that offensive line something. Evan Neal has gotten better as the season's gone on.
Yeah.
He's still a rookie. He had a couple of offsides penalties in the last game I wasn't happy with. But between him and Thomas on the other side, you got two good anchors there, I think, that you can build off of. And we move from there. But still, to be in this position for the Giants is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Did I not call the Eagles game on Sunday morning in our group text when I said that
you were worried about it for a little bit? You were,
and I'll
you
tell you
worried
what,
about it.
It was an hour before game time, and I went on DraftKings because I had 8 cents on FanDuel, so I couldn't put that in.
Understandable.
But I had $5 somehow still on DraftKings. So I was like, I'll take the Bears and 8.5, and sure enough, pulled it off, and I won the bet there. But they definitely looked like a team overlooking the Bears. And now
it seemed.
Oh, go ahead.
it did seem like, I was just going to say, it seemed like a lot of the noise from the week leading up again, with Micah Parsons and all the other stuff that was coming out, and a lot of the noise around that maybe had something to do with it, and maybe they did overlook the Bears a little bit, and maybe not giving Justin Fields the respect. You get the respect, that maybe he was due.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, even on a game where they didn't perform well, they still won.
Yeah. Now going into this weekend with the Cowboys, I am saying it now. You tweeted out to me, building in the excuses already about Jalen Hurts being hurt. It's all mind games. I mean, he's hurt. I mean, don't get me wrong. By this point, I'm sure every player in the NFL is hurt. But
right.
He's playing.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think this is Nick Sirianni. Not so much Jalen Hurts, because he doesn't strike me as a mind games guy, but Nick Sirianni strikes me as a mind games guy, doing this to Dallas because of what Parsons said about Jalen Hurts and get him going. And
it could be, because I think there were some reports out now saying that, maybe the shoulder injury is not as bad as once thought.
I mean,
so maybe they're already trying to build in the fact that it's going to be like a game time decision or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts already said, I'm playing. Like an hour after Sirianni said, this might be a couple weeks.
Right, well, Mike White said he was playing too, and look how that turned out.
But here's what I'm not excuse. The reasoning I'm using behind I think he's playing is, if his shoulder is that bad that he may be out 2-3 weeks, how the hell did he keep playing for another quarter and a half?
Tore it all, baby.
But he never went back to the locker room, I don't think. I don't remember him going back to the locker room.
Did he go in a blue tent?
They don't give that in there. They take him back to the locker room for that shit.
Well, you could do the blue tent. He just walks in there, and the doctor's in there, give him a little shotty shot right into the joint. And there you go. Hey, doc, I feel real good. I can go out there. Let's go.
But
but either way, even if that didn't happen, well, Jalen Hurts is, listen, he's a dog.
Yeah,
he absolutely is. He's what Sirianni wants. He's a dog, as a lot of people say now. He is a tough son of a bitch, and so I can see him doing that, and I can see him also wanting to go out there. But then on the Eagles side, you have to look at it from two perspectives here. You have to look at it as, if it is a legitimate injury, if it's something that is something that's like, this is a concern that if another hit or another couple of throws or something else tears or does something like that, can this knock him out for longer? Then it might be a good idea to be like, hey, let's sit him, let him rest, and let's prepare him for the road to the Super Bowl. Because listen, they're already up.
I think we're 2 games up on Minnesota.
2 games on the Vikings. But I think the Vikings aren't your worry. I think the 49ers are. If you're the Eagles, you have to look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah,
like to beat the Cowboys. Do you have a good enough game without Jalen to do that? I think so. You still have A.J. Brown as your receiver. You still have other weapons as wide receiver. You still have that running game.
I think if we
and
do
you still
go
have
with
that defense.
I think if we do go with Gardner Minshew, you're gonna, as a team, have to rely a little bit more on the running game. Not
I don't.
Not
see,
30
I disagree.
rushes.
I disagree because Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback.
He's
a fantastic quarterback.
I'm not saying
the only thing you lose with Gardner Minshew over Jalen Hurts is the running power. Like, you can give Jalen Hurts on a quarterback sneak is unfucking. Quarterback sneaks are usually unstoppable anyway.
Yeah,
but that motherfucker was ultra unstoppable.
Yeah.
With Minshew, maybe you hand it off. And stuff like that. But I think passing wise, I think having Gardner Minshew in there takes nothing away from the passing game, and leaves you in a good spot.
Yeah.
So I would, depending on how bad the injury is, say let's maybe go with Minshew as the starter.
And you know what?
And rest him up.
Or even put Minshew as a starter, put Hurts as your emergency quarterback or your backup quarterback.
Maybe.
Maybe if the game starts getting out of hand, okay, put Hurts in there. Let's like not out of hand, like not 30-0 like the Colts Vikings games, but like if they're up 14-0, maybe put Hurts back in there or put him in there. And
you gotta see,
I will say though, the small part of me that wants to see Gardner Minshew start and watch us not even destroy, just score a couple touchdowns, passing touchdowns, and just to see his emotions. And they're like, I just love how he is.
Everybody loves Minshew.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I like the kid. I think he's good enough to be a starting quarterback somewhere in this league.
I think he got a bad rap in Jacksonville.
I think I just think he's a talented quarterback, and I think he can start in a number of places in the NFL. So again, I think having him as your option, if Jalen Hurts his shoulder is too banged up to go, you could have a lot worse of a situation. And even with Minshew in there, I would still pick the Eagles. Now, I think the line has gone more towards the Cowboys since the Jalen Hurts news came out.
Because
obviously the money in Vegas are thinking differently.
Yeah.
But I think with Minshew in there, I would still pick the Eagles to win that. Absolutely.
We'll see. I mean, I know before the news came out, the line was at like 1.5, and then when the news came out, it jumped up to like 6 or 7.
Let me
Eagles
see
were
here.
getting.
Pulling this up on my FanDuel app.
Originally, the Eagles were getting a 1.5, and then he got hurt, and then got
right now the Cowboys are favored by 4.5. Now, granted, they're playing in Dallas, so they automatically get 3 points.
Yeah.
So, but that's even so. They were down to only 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
With having the automatic 3, and now they're up to 4.5 because of the Jalen Hurts news. But I would personally, I'd take the Eagles all day on that. I'd take the Eagles money line on that. I think the Eagles beating the Cow. I think the Eagles will beat the Cowboys.
I'll say Minshew,
this with Minshew or Jalen Hurts in there.
With our blue picks, I almost picked the Eagles for our upset, but I'm like, nope, because every time I pick the Eagles or the team they're playing, they fuck it up for me. So I did not. Little insight to our blue picks here. I did not take any team from the Eagles Dallas game. So,
all right. Well,
I may sit on my $10, let that in there, DraftKings for another year, and wait till next year to make another bet.
And also, before we do get into the Kings NFL Top 12 Power Rankings for Week 16, I do want to point out hashtag Fire Rough is back.
Yeah, what's going on with that? What happened there, buddy?
Yeah, the Devils. We lost 5th in a row.
Now was that before
4-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes?
Was that before or after? Was that before or after the Flyers beat you guys this past week?
This is after. Because you guys did beat us. Well, that's all. The only reason you beat us was Carter Hart stood on his fucking head. the goaltender
saves.
Who you hate.
No.
So much. You hate him so much.
No, I've always liked him.
Don't try to suck up to him now.
I've always liked him.
Up to him now.
It was
you fucking sick
the
of
1 year that he started getting hurt.
No. I don't want to hear
when I started to get worried. Bastard, you.
I'm not Carter Hart. If you're listening, which I know you're not, but Jimbo here from Stay Tuned Sports has done nothing but talk shit on you.
I even have
for
the
camouflage. The last 3 years.
Bullshit. Maybe 1 year.
Unbelievable.
I even got the Army camouflage Flyers jersey of Hart, and it came in too small because
and do you remember the reason you said that though was because you wanted to make sure that you could blend in case he started playing shitty again, so that people wouldn't even.
You got me mistaken. I'm not smart enough to come up with that excuse.
But Jesus. Yes, the Devils are on a 5-game slide, so hashtag Fire Off is officially back, and let's see if we can turn this season around here, Devils. Why don't we do that? So
I know the Flyers aren't going anywhere. I watched them last night against the Blue Jackets, and it was a good game. We won 4-2. No, 4-3 because they came. No, 4-2 because we got the empty netter. Tippett, the kid that we traded for with the Claude Giroux trade last season. seems like he might be coming on, and you know what? Also, I just want to make this little statement here. Some of the Flyers fans want to trade Travis Konechny. I understand why you want to trade him. Rebuild, all that stuff. Me personally, keep him on the team. You know, he's.
Can I say something real quick here?
My
First of all, Konechny is good. Don't get me wrong. Konechny is great. But I just want to point out how you can't say Creek and you can't say Jaguar. Well, meanwhile, you pronounce Konechny fine. When there's 10 million people out there who can't say his fucking name.
Because I practice
like, even announcers can't say his fucking name.
Because I practice it in the mirror in the bathroom.
And you're just sitting out there, you just bust out a Konechny out on us, and it's like, this motherfucker skipped not a beat with Konechny, but it's talking about the Jaguars.
Well, I
got to go to the crick.
I make sure I got my sports team player names correct and fuck the rest of English.
But anyway, here you go. That's a round of applause for getting Konechny. Very nice. But no, I mean, I get it, you know, but I don't know.
I just hope they don't trade him. That's what I just want to say. And Flyers fans that think he should go.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem is that even if the Flyers do, their track record with as far as drafting or signing free agents, doing like that is not the like their personnel moves over the last 10 years have been fucking horrendous from just an outside point of view. So like if I'm a Flyers fan, they're like, well, we're gonna do this as far as rebuilding for the future and getting pieces together. I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah.
Like what have you done to show that you actually know how to fucking build a team? Let alone you're going to sit there and say, well, you're going to get rid of one of our best players to, you know, well, we're going to do this to get the pieces and build a team. It's like, I don't trust you to get the pieces.
Yeah, we've been rebuilding for 10 years. Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. Long season ago. That's why I didn't get excited about the Devils' big hot start.
Yeah.
Like I tempered it. I was like, let's see where we are at the All-Star break. Let's wait on that. And sure enough, you know, it was a good idea to kind of wait because, you know, we're all of a sudden in a 5-game free fall, and that's not good. It's not where you want to be. So,
all right, you want to do your power rankings here?
Yeah, let's do the power rankings. You're gonna hear them here right here first, folks. Right here, live before they're posted anywhere. Usually, I post them, and there's stuff and it's already up there. But you're gonna hear it here first, and then I'll give them a post there to see where we are. So let's break it down, ladies and gentlemen. Here's King's NFL Top 12 Power Rankings for Week 16. We're at Week 16. We've got 3 weeks left.
Dude, like the past 4 weeks just flew by.
You have to soak it in because it's going to be gone, and then we're going to be in the doldrums of fucking boring ass baseball again, and that's all we're going to have.
We still got hockey for 4 more months.
We have hockey for a bit. We got hockey for a bit, and that's good. You know, hockey being my favorite sport, so I'm okay with it. But man, there is nothing quite like when the NFL is around, and then when the NFL is gone, it's depressing. It is. I'm sorry. Yeah. It is. So here we go. Kings NFL Top 12 Power Rankings Week 16. Number 12. This one was tough. I was thinking of putting in the Jacksonville Jaguars into the spot. Decided against it. Only went with the Washington football team of Redskin Commanders at 7-6-1. They're down 2 spots after that loss to the Giants. Big game for both them and the Giants. Big loss for the Commanders again. Controversial, if you want to say it. There's a couple schools of thought on that, which I kind of put there too. But either way, they needed that win. They didn't get it. Now they got a tough game against the 49ers at Levi Stadium. So not looking good for the Commanders. At 11, I have the team that did beat them, the New York Giants. They are back in the rankings after being out for the last couple of weeks. They are 8-5-1. They are, again, they can, if they win this week against the Vikings and they have Washington lose, and who else is it needs to lose? Seattle. Yes. Seattle's playing. Yeah. So if they have Washington and Seattle lose, they can go ahead and get into the playoffs already clinched. That would be something. They are 11 at 10, down 4 spots. Again, they almost lost last week to the worst team in the NFL. And so I knocked them down a couple spots for that because like you can't almost lose to the Houston Texans and keep a high spot. Well, then they went ahead and lost in overtime to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are, believe it or not, still alive for the AFC South title. So don't sleep on the Jaguars right now either. But the Dallas Cowboys at 10, they are 10-4. They are down 4 spots. There's something wrong with Dallas. And I think even a Dallas Cowboy fan will tell you there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but they better fix it, and they better fix it quick.
Yeah.
Because the playoffs are coming. They're going to be, one of the top seeds in there. And again, they're still alive for the NFC East, but that loss to the Jaguars really hurts and kind of puts it on life support for them actually being able to win a division. I don't think they're going to get it now. Well, again, that loss hurts them really badly. But at 10 for right now, let's see if they can improve during the rest of the season. Again, we only got 3 weeks left. It's sad. At number 9, up 3 spots, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. They're making a late season run after being super inconsistent all year. Herbert's kind of finding himself a groove. They're winning games now that they normally lose. They're coming back. That last minute drive and a hell of a throw by Herbert to Keenan Allen to get them in field goal range to win that game last week. Good. It's good football. It's good football. The Chargers, they're winning. I think, despite their coach, not because of him.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of shit that's holding them back as well. So we'll see what happens from now on, but that's where I put them. They are at 9. At 8, I have the Miami Dolphins. They lost up in Buffalo, but played one hell of a game. Better than I think anybody thought they were going to. A great game by Tua, great game by the Dolphins. Buffalo had to come back and win in their own place. It's I'm sure disappointing for the Dolphins, who were still maybe alive for, if they had won that game, they'd only be a game back of the division lead. Right now, they're 3 games back because of that loss. 8-6, still in a playoff position, but it's getting dicey. They need to win these last few weeks here in order to secure themselves a playoff spot. I think they can do that, but they're at 8. They stay at 8. That's a no change from last week. At number 7, again, I don't like rewarding teams, but again, this is a case of kind of where do you put teams, everything like that. And they are 11-3. And listen, they did have the greatest comeback in NFL history. That's worth something. So up 2 spots to number 7 is the Minnesota Vikings at 11-3. Is anybody out there convinced by the Vikings? I don't think so. But they are 11-3. And at this point in the season, you are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
I don't think they are what their record says they are. But from the power rankings standpoint, from the eyeball test here, listen, whether it's luck or just being good or a combination of both, whatever it is, the fact that you can lose one half 33-0 and then win the next half 36-3, that's pretty good. And then you get it to overtime and you get yourself a win there where it looked like just 45 minutes before you were losing that game and losing it badly. That counts for something. And now that team has a shit ton of momentum going forward. They have a big game against the Giants this week at home. And a Giants team that's going to be hungry. The Giants have a chance, like I said, to clinch a playoff spot. So Minnesota can't be lackadaisical. They have to take that momentum from the Colts game and use it to win and stay in the hunt for that number 1 seed in the NFC. But the Vikings are number 7. At number 6, the team I don't think anybody would wants to play right now, and that is the Detroit Lions. They are 7-7, up 1 spot from last week. But how is this? I don't understand it. This team is 6-1 in their last 7. Absolutely, their defense, I don't get it. And their play calling is so much better. Their offense is clicking. Jared Goff looks like a fucking superstar again. They're making plays when they have to. They're winning games when they would normally lose them. Like it's stunning.
Yeah,
it is stunning to see what this team is doing. And listen, the last 3 games they have this year are all very, very, very winnable games for the Detroit Lions. What do they have? I know they close out with the Packers. That's their last game of the year. They have the Panthers this week, and I believe they have the Bears next week. So they have the Panthers, Bears, and Packers.
Yeah,
those are
that's
3
very easy,
very winnable games for them. And if they do, it's not guaranteed they'll make the playoffs, but it's a pretty good shot they will. Detroit Lions 7-7, up 1 spot to number 6. At number 5, down a spot at 11-3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning in overtime against the Houston Texans, in which they were losing a lot of this game to Houston in the last 2 weeks. Have almost beaten the Cowboys and almost beaten the Chiefs, 2 of the better teams in the NFL. Again, almost counts in horseshoes and hand grenades only, but impressive performance from the Texans both of these weeks. Kansas City, was this an off week? Was this one of their bad weeks? Every team has them. Again, the Chiefs have had a few, though. They lost to the Colts earlier this year when the Colts were still bad, and the Colts have been bad all year. Yeah. So there's no change there. So, but the Chiefs have had a couple of these games where they've been un-Chief-like. And we had another one of those games, but again, in the end, they did just enough to win. So you got to give them credit for that. But again, you don't get rewarded for that. You get down a point. So that is the Chiefs at number 5. At number 4, down 1 spot. You're going to be pissed at me, and I don't care. Number 4 is the Philadelphia Eagles at 13-1.
Oh, piss off.
This isn't so much a performance issue. Again, they did struggle a little bit against the Chicago Bears, a much lower opponent than them. But like I said, we've seen a couple other teams struggle against some lower opponents. Maybe were they looking ahead to Dallas? Were they doing something like that? I don't know. Was Dallas looking ahead to the Eagles? That might be a reason why they lost the Jacksonville game. I don't know. You can chalk it up to some things like that. I think it's probably a combination of things. But again, this is just also another case of, I think there's a lot of good teams. You got to put them somewhere. And with the Eagles case, they're 13-1. But I think it's a soft 13-1. It's kind of like the Vikings 11-3. It's a soft 11-3. Again, 13-1 is 13-1. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, they're 13-1 because of luck." Jalen Hurts is an absolute animal. AJ Brown is a phenomenal fucking weapon. I mean, the Eagles are that team. They are a Super Bowl favorite. There's no arguing that. There's no well, I don't know if the Eagles are. No. The Eagles are a front runner to win the Super Bowl. There's no argument there. We just have, again, this is my picks, and this is who I have here as this list. And if you don't like it, suck my dick. Go make your own list. As we say here every week. At number 3, this is where we start getting a little iffy. I went back and forth a lot of times here on the top 3, top 4, top 5. There was a lot of switching. There really was. Once we got to 5, once we got to the Chiefs, Eagles, stuff like that, I was like, there was a lot of bouncing back and forth here. But for number 3, at 10-4, up 2 spots, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Man, that Niners defense is fucking incredible. I mean, Nick Bosa is it Nick or Joey? That's Nick Bosa in San Francisco.
Nick is
right?
there, and
yeah,
Joey's
Nick, that's the one. My
Chargers.
fiance loves his arms, and she gets all, oh, Nick Bosa. He does the little all shucks pose after his sacks, and he's doing his cute little pose. And it's like, yeah, no, you see his arms. That's why you're like everything like that. But still, that Niners defense is tops in the NFL. They really are something special. And the 49ers offense has all those weapons helping out good old Brock Purdy. Do good, and that's it. The 49ers have not fallen off with Brock Purdy in there as quarterback. Is that because he's a good quarterback, or is that just because of all the weapons? Hard to say, and I don't think it really matters. They're good. Maybe the best team in the NFC. I personally think they are. If you put them again, the Eagles on a neutral site, I think it's the 49ers. But here's the thing, when it comes to the playoffs, you don't get a neutral site to the last game. So if the Niners have to go to Philly, that's going to be a thing. So we'll see how that happens. But for right now, I have the 49ers at number 3. At 2, down 1 spot, I have the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
Great team. fantastic team, still obviously Super Bowl favorite. Struggled a bit with Miami at home, had to come back in Orchard Park, in everything that should be in their advantage, weather, cold, snow, windy, and the team from Miami outplayed them a lot of the game. They've had a couple of games like this of late where it's like, are the Bills the Bills? They've lost to the Jets. They've struggled against the Jets. They've lost to, they've struggled with other teams that maybe they shouldn't struggle with. Is that a sign of a problem? Is that just, the wear and tear of a season? Again, they've lost Von Miller for the year. That's a big loss for them, especially later in the game and on third downs. But for now, I do have the Bills at 11-3 as number 2 in these picks. And at number 1, up 1 spot, I have your Cincinnati Bengals.
They're not my Cincinnati Bengals.
They're all of our Cincinnati Bengals. They are clicking like no other team in the NFL right now. They had a big comeback against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay last week. They were down 17-3 at halftime.
Yeah,
came all the way back, won that game, and made it look rather pedestrian to come back and win. That offensive line, which was giving so many problems to Joe Burrow earlier in the year, where he was getting murdered, playing so much better. Joe Burrow is in that mode again. He is just Joe fucking cool right now, just doing everything. Their running game is fantastic. Their defense is sneakily, I think, the best in the NFL. They shut down teams, especially in the second half. And again, as we saw in the game against Tampa, that defense is fantastic the whole game. But when it matters the most, that Bengals defense is an iron curtain. They are fantastic. And for right now, in my opinion, at week 16, I don't think there's a better team in the NFL playing right now than the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's pretty scary. And the Bengals still open for that number 1 spot in AFC. So we'll see. Again, 3 weeks left. Lots to still be determined as far as the playoffs go. And I'm excited to see how we go. But there it is, my list for Week 16, King's top 12 power rankings for the NFL. We have the Bengals, Bills, 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Dolphins, Chargers, Cowboys, Giants, and football team of Redskin Commanders.
I just can't wait till the Eagles win the Super Bowl and I could be like, yeah, how about your power rankings now, bitch?
God, I can't wait for that not to happen. God, I can't. Like, it gives me anxiety thinking about the Eagles in the Super Bowl again. I can't do it.
And this time I will not call you. I'll drive my ass down there and knock on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning, because it'll probably take me about that long.
Dude, my family still talks and remembers about how you called me after that Super Bowl, drunk off your ass, singing "Fly Eagles Fly" for about 20 straight minutes, not shutting the fuck up. Like, that's a legend now in the King household. Which is also why even my father was saying, like, I do not want the Eagles to win, because you're gonna catch shit from Jimbo. He's gonna give you shit all the time. I was like,
it's gonna be Jimbo 2.0.
Can't do it. Can't win with it. Can't do it.
For the most part, I agree with your power rankings. Taking the Eagles argument out of it, I still think the Bills would be a better team than the Bengals, but so it's probably close. So it's maybe kind of like a 1A, 1B.
I have flip-flopped a couple of these teams. I flip-flopped the Eagles and Niners a couple times. I had the Niners as my number 1 team for a little bit here. I flip-flopped them with the Bengals and then the Bills. I had Bengals, Niners, Bills. Then I had Niners, Bengals, Bills. Then I had Niners, Bills, Bengals. I was like, no, I think the Bengals are better. Like, I really tortured over this. I had Bengals, Bills, Eagles, Niners, and I was like, no, I think the Niners are higher. Then I had, the Chiefs. Do I do the Eagles, Chiefs? I was like, no, but the top 5 was a fucking chore.
Yeah,
it really was. Like, this was the first time in a good number of weeks where I really struggled. Once we got to the top 5, I struggled a bit. And I think either one of these teams, you can move them around and still have a generally okay list. I think the Bills can be a number one team. I think the Niners can be a number one team. I think the Eagles can be a number one team. I think if you felt like it, I think the Chiefs could be the number one team. I think any of the top 5 you could plug in as number one.
Yeah.
And it be a good list.
Yeah.
I really do. So that's what I mean. It's this top 5 is really hard, and we're getting to that point of year where you're seeing what teams are performing the best as we get further on into this year. And like I said, right now I don't think anybody's playing better than the Bengals or our number 6 team, the Lions. I think the Lions and Bengals are the 2 teams that are playing the best. The only problem with the Lions is they started 1-6.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but we'll have those up there. You guys can look. You can debate over us at all of our social media sites. There at ST Sports Podcast. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. You can find us at Stay Tuned Sports over at Facebook. We're all over the place.
Yeah,
you can find us stuff.
everywhere.
Go over to staytunedsports.net. Is our website. You can find all of our links and things there as well as all the episode uploads. And yeah, so there you go. So there's the power rankings this week. Top 12 for this week.
All right, so to close out the show, do our blue picks.
Yeah, let's kick them out. And before we start, I know sometimes people get upset if I ask, but I have to ask. I do. Because we can't go into it blind. We have to know. We have to understand. Jimbo, are the Blue Picks sponsored by anybody?
Why, yes, they are. They are sponsored by W Energy Drinks. W gives you focus and energy without the crash or jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial flavors. Head over to w.gg and use the promo code STSports18, all capital letters, to receive 10% off of your purchase.
This is the thing. You want to go into 2023 being focused, right? You don't want to be sitting around lackadaisical, sleepy, just like, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to play this game. Or maybe I don't want to be focused at work. Or maybe I don't want to draw this thing. Or maybe whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing that you need to be focused at, you want to be focused in 2023, right? Well, that's why you got to go to w.gg. They have all of the great and wonderful W stuff there, all your W energy drinks, all the stuff there, and it's fantastic because there's no crash. Why? No sugar. There's no sugar in there. There's no anything like that. And me as a diabetic, I love that too because that means I can actually drink W and not, die. Isn't that a wonderful thing? So even if you're diabetic, even if you're not, having all that extra sugar that you get in the other energy drinks, that's not good for you. It's not healthy. All those empty calories, all that other stuff. No, you get W, you get the focus you need without all the empty calories and the dangers that come from all of that sugar. They have so many different flavors. They're doing new flavors right now that we know Jimbo was talking about a couple weeks ago. Those are out there as well. You go to w.gg, look at the flavors you want to get. They even have some of these little trial packs that you can get. You can test them all out before you go ahead and get the one that you find that is your favorite. And then here's the thing. Once you get everything that you want, everything that you need, you go to that checkout, you put in ST Sports 18, all capital letters right there. You put that in there, you're going to get 10% off of your purchase. That's a great way to start off the new year. You can't beat that. W.gg, checkout code ST Sports 18, all capital letters. Get yourself 10% off. W, what is it? Do better? Be better?
Yes.
I always forget the tagline. Be better. Better be do. Boo do better do.
And
see, I need W right now to focus because I've lost my focus. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the tagline is. You know why? Because I didn't drink my W today. That's a problem.
There you go.
Don't forget to drink your W.
And kind of go on to what King said. If you guys are following W over on Twitter or Facebook, they announced their new flavor. I believe it's called Punchin' Punch, which is fruit punch.
Punchin' Punch.
Punchin' Punch, like so. Punchin', like I'm punching your face, and then punch, fruit punch.
Punching, right.
And then punch.
Okay, so it's a punchin' punch.
Yes. So it's a fruit punch with a lemon lime mixed in with it. And from what I've been seeing, everybody's saying it's really good. Some of the original flavors have a slight chalkiness to it. Everywhere I see, everybody's saying whatever they did, the chalkiness has gone away. So you're just getting full flavor. I'm waiting for mine to come in, so make sure you guys
real fruit flavor.
Head over there and use that promo code. Okay, so
head over where? W.gg. That's where you want to go.
That's why I was leaving it up for you.
See, very nice. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, I kind of...
All right, what do we got? We got the blue picks here.
Yeah, so I kind of didn't have any W,
and
and I didn't recap last week's pick, so we're just going to go right into Week 16 blowout pick, or blue picks here.
That's fantastic. I love doing the blue picks because it really doesn't matter
Yeah.
what the fuck we do or if we
Next
win or
year-
not. It's just like, let's just pick games and see if it fucking matters. Because
Yeah.
next week, it never matters. We never talk about it, so it doesn't matter.
Next season, we'll be a little bit more professional about it.
Professional? No, you won't. No, you won't. Let's be honest.
That's not in our vocabulary. All right.
Well, it's not in your vocabulary. Let's see. What do we got here?
Right.
For the blowout pick, let's see some of the games, because here we go. Later in the season, you're usually not going to get too many more blowout picks here.
Yeah, I only saw like 2 or 3 games, possibly.
Let's see here. I think a blowout is going to happen. Ooh, that's a... No, I don't... No, maybe... No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes. Yeah, I'm going to go with... Oh, do I want to do that one? No, yeah, oh... All right. Then first of all, this sounds pornographic, and it's not. I promise you. I'm gonna go. They burned me. All right. I'm gonna go with this one. I don't want to. I think they're good, but I'm gonna go with San Francisco over Washington. Currently, San Francisco is a 7-point favorite over the Commanders at Santa Clara, at Levi Stadium, at the Big Gene. I think Washington's good enough to hang with the Niners, but that Niners defense is on a different level. They're not going to be able to run like they did against the Giants, against San Francisco. Heineke's going to get hit a little bit more, which is kind of saying something, because Kayvon Thibodeau really lit him up a couple times during that game. And the Niners have a lot more weapons. Now, is Brock Purdy as good as Daniel Jones? Maybe not, especially not with the legs.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot more weapons than the Giants do. And I think the Niners can win by at least 10. So I'll give the Niners that one. That's going to be my blowout pick there. Niners over the football team of Redskins Commanders.
Okay. That was actually going to be one of mine, but that could go either way. I mean, if Washington shows up how they were playing really well earlier on and not, last week or whatever, it could be a closer game. So I went with the Chargers over the Colts. Like you said, the Chargers seem like they're starting to get their footing a little bit here. I don't think the Colts are any good. They're going to Nick Foles now. They're benching Matt Ryan, which I don't know why you wouldn't go to the rookie, see what he's got. See if you need a quarterback for next year.
Well, they did. They already did. They went to Ehlinger and he sucked.
Yeah,
so.
But that was before Saturday. Before Saturday came in.
That doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it does. Different system.
No,
but
just Jesus Christ.
I love trying to piss you off. But yeah, so I got the Chargers over the Colts. I think it's gonna be 10 plus points, maybe even 15. All right, moving on to our lock picks.
All right. For the lock here, this is going to be a bit of a sentimental pick. We just lost a legend in the NFL. Franco Harris, the Immaculate Reception, Franco's Army, everything that we know from the Steelers of that 70s. One of the biggest parts of it. Truly an NFL legend, Hall of Famer. Franco Harris passed this week on Wednesday morning, actually, which is extra sad because they were honoring the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception this Saturday.
And
as the Steelers
retiring his number
and retiring his number. Yes, there was going to be a number retirement celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. It was going to be this whole thing. After all these years and after all that time, they were going to do this, and for him to and the thing about it is that it was so sudden.
Yeah.
That nobody saw this coming. This wasn't a case where like he was struggling or something happened. He just, we woke up this morning and he was gone.
Yeah.
But I can't see the Steelers losing this game. Say what you want about things being sentimentality or, whether or not teams, win or lose based on that or whatever the case is. They're playing in Pittsburgh. People know what he meant to that organization. The fans are going to be there and in full throat. And despite how good or bad the season has been for the Steelers, this is a game I don't see them losing, and I don't think they can lose.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick the Steelers to go ahead and beat the Raiders on Saturday night in Pittsburgh, and get one for Franco.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm picking there.
All right. I am going to pick the Bengals over the Pats. We all saw how that Pats game ended. Bill Belichick's always going to be a good coach. I just don't think Belichick has a hold on a team as good as in the past.
It ain't Belichick. It's the fact that you got fucking Matt Patricia calling offensive plays for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
And the guy he's conferring with is Joe fucking Judge. Like I don't know if Bill's just giving up. Like if he's just taking a sabbatical, if he's trying to fuck things up. If there's going to be, hey, listen, there's talks. There's talks. So maybe a reunion next year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see that with Mr. Brady. I think if Brady don't go back there, I think Bill might retire because he won't go through another season like this.
How interesting would that be?
Yeah.
How interesting would that be? You want to talk about sports talk radio? Something to talk about. There we go. We got topics for days.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. But
so yeah, the Patriots are just bad, and like you said in your power rankings, Bengals are just clicking really well right now. So Bengals over the Patriots.
Yeah, you're on a different level. Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then we have the upset special, as a lot of people like saying. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the team that defies expectations? Who's going to be the team that says, hey, fuck you, we're going to win, despite you thinking we're not? You can go suck our asshole. That
was interesting.
Yeah, I know. Well, looking at the teams here of who's favored, who's not, I'm going to say for a team that is currently an underdog that I think could win, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans over the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
Tennessee is favored currently by 3.5. They're playing at home. But Tennessee has sucked asshole these last 4 or 5 weeks. You got Malik Willis, who people were begging to get in there, and he's been in there. And guess what, guys? Not that great.
Yeah,
not that great. So I'll tell you what. And with the way Houston's been playing these last couple of weeks, why not give them a shot? So I'll go with the Houston Texans over the Tennessee Titans as my upset pick.
Okay. All right. I am going with the belief that this team
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking like that because I'm going with the Giants over the Vikings. I think the Vikings are.
I'm sorry, it's Hanukkah.
I think the Vikings are who I thought they were for the past few weeks. I've been saying it that I don't think they're as good as their record shows, and I think the Giants have, other than a couple games, have been consistent, and I think they could pull it off. I think they could beat Minnesota.
A lot to play for. There's a lot to play. That's why if the Giants win this week, there's a very good chance they clinch. Like I said, with Washington being in San Francisco, Seattle being in Kansas City, if the Giants can win in Minnesota, there's a very good chance they clinch.
Yeah.
So you have to go into this game with that mindset, almost a playoff mindset of let's do this, let's get in, let's clinch. Because here's the other thing, too. We play Indianapolis next week. So let's say we clinch this week. We play Indianapolis next week. If we beat Indianapolis, we're pretty much going to be locked into that 6th spot.
Yeah.
And if we get that, if we're locked into a spot, like if we're locked into 6 or 5 or whatever, or if we get into a spot where we don't have to like we're not going to either improve our playoff position.
Yeah.
Sit people.
Yeah.
For that Eagles game, sit anybody or sit Saquon, sit DJ, sit anybody, Kayvon, Thibodeau, sit anybody, sit any starters. We're already a practice squad anyway.
Yeah.
Just fill the rest of it out with practice squad people. Let them get fucking ass fucked by the Eagles. Because here's the other thing: the Eagles might have had everything locked up by then too. So it might be practice squad versus practice squad.
Yeah.
Which fine, I don't care, you know. But if we get to that point, like the Giants have a shot here to this isn't crazy. This is crazy to me. The Giants have a shot to not only make the playoffs this year, which if you told me that 4 months ago, go fuck yourself. You're crazy. But we have a chance to rest players on the last week before the playoffs. Like that would be insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot here that for the Giants on the line for the Giants. I think they can do it. I think they can do it. This is a week to do it. So gonna be jacked. Gonna be really excited. That's the Christmas present we need.
There you
Giants
go.
right here. Clinch it here. And the Eagles have a chance, I think, to clinch the division.
We have a chance
I think if you
everything.
beat the Cowboys, that's a clinch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can clinch the division. You can clinch number one. You can do all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, there's a lot on. We could have Christmas presents for everybody. So we'll see.
Except for Dallas, fuck them.
No, fuck Dallas. You know, and I'm sorry. And I like it. You know, our good friend Ashley.
Yes.
Who remember?
Probably the only Dallas fan I could deal with.
I love her. She's fantastic. She's a big Cowboys fan, which sucks, but she's also a big Devils fan. So that's something that's going on in her favor. But yeah, no. For this Christmas, she can go fuck herself. No Cowboys winning for her. That would make me happy. But I think that's it. And the Blue Picks brought to you once again by Dubby. Go to dubby.gg. Find out all of your stuff that you want there. Anything that you want. New flavors. The Punch and Punch, as Jimbo just said. You get everything you want there when you get to checkout. Put in ST Sports 18, all capital letters, and you get 10% off. Thank you once again to Dubby.
So that's going to be it for us this week. Before we go, I just want to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Did you just say Happy Merry Christmas?
Yeah, man. Just, hashtag new phrases.
Yeah.
Maybe I had like a Let's Go Brandon moment there. Till next week.
Don't get political. Don't get political.
Till next week. It's your good friend Jimbo.
And it's King. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's, everybody.
See ya.